Hello everyone, my name is Dominique Filas. I'm the ANR Program Assistant over at UGA Extension in Clayton County, and I'll be doing a presentation about microgreens. Okay, microgreens. If you have been into the health food craze and are fond of figuring out what things to introduce in your diet to make the best of your health and feel the best that you can possibly feel, then this will be a load of information that you will definitely take to heart. You may or may not have heard of microgreens, but if you haven't, you are definitely going to enjoy today's presentation. They are not only an aesthetically pleasing garnish to add to your dish, but it's extremely healthy and full of all sorts of nutrients. I personally eat microgreens whenever I can get my hands on them because I enjoy the taste of them, specifically sunflower sprouts. The first question we have to tackle is what microgreens even are. A microgreen is defined as a very small, young, and tender edible leaf, such as mustard, radish, mint, or lettuce, to name a few. In other words, they are the shoots of young salad plants and are typically served as a vegetable dish or added to other dishes for a burst of flavor and nutrients. I mentioned earlier that my favorite type of microgreen are sunflower sprouts. Some people put them in the same category together like I do. But in actuality, there is a slight difference between the two. The only difference between microgreens and sprouts is that microgreens are a bit older than sprouts. However, you will hear the word used interchangeably, like when I will later discuss the different types of microgreens. Microgreens are grown over a period of 7 to 14 days, where sprouts will typically grow in water over just a time period of a few days. Another difference between sprouts and microgreens is that you can only grow sprouts in water, where you can grow microgreens in both water and soil. Sprouts also grow in no light, whereas microgreens need light to grow. There are so many benefits to microgreens, and I honestly don't know where to start. Firstly, microgreens are a great filler to a dish that's very low on calories and practically has nothing bad for your health in them whatsoever. Knowing what seeds work best is very useful knowledge. Salad greens, leafy vegetables, herbs, and even edible flowers can be grown as microgreens, although some varieties are better suited than others. Microgreens are high on essential vitamins, although it varies which type of vitamins based on what plant you're eating. Now we will be going over different subjects about microgreens. To start off, we will describe how to grow microgreens. Then we will move into these different types of microgreens that you can grow and some nutrient facts about them. And to wrap it up, we're going to end with some delicious recipes that you can try out yourself from home. The first step to growing your very own microgreens is to choose what you want to grow. You have so many options, but mustard, kale, arugula, beet greens, spinach, radish greens, watercress, peas, cabbage, basil, and lettuce are some of the most common and popular varieties of microgreens. We'll be discussing a broad generalization of how to grow all types of microgreens, not just one particular type. The second step is to pick a container to plant in. This can be anything from the bottom half of a cardboard box to a Tupperware container to the Taco Bell you had last night in a plastic to-go container. The reason why I say this is because I've actually used the container that my Power Bowl from Taco Bell that came in to grow microgreens, and it worked perfectly fine. Step 3 is to choose your growing medium. There are a couple of different ways to grow microgreens. The one that is easiest for me is to grow with an unbleached paper towel. And if you really don't have those but want to grow with a similar medium, you can use those unused brown napkins from Taco Bell. You know, the ones that usually get left at the bottom of the bag and get thrown in the trash. You can be ecologically aware and reuse those napkins and the container to reduce on trash waste and to grow microgreens. You can also grow microgreens hydroponically. If you don't know what that is, hydroponics simply means the growing of plants in nutrient solutions without an inert medium, such as soil, to provide mechanical support. Hydroponics means that their roots will be suspended in a liquid nutrient solution instead of growing down into the dirt. Some of the benefits of growing hydroponically is that you can reuse the water in your hydroponic system, which means they require 20% less water than growing in soil. Another benefit of growing hydroponically is that you have more control over how much of each kind of nutrient your plants are getting. You can regulate the liquid fertilizer balances for each individual microgreen crop that you want to grow. The last type of microgreen medium that you can grow in is soil. You can grow microgreens in compost, soil mixes, or just a 50-50 blend of perlite and vermiculite, although larger seeds usually require soil. The next step is seeding. Sprinkle your seeds in your growing medium, evenly scattered. Make sure you scatter an extremely generous amount of seeds onto your growing medium, as overseeding will allow a higher germination rate. However, make sure that they have enough room to grow so your germination is even more successful. If you are planting with soil, make sure to cover the seeds with a very thin layer of soil on top. The next step is to dampen the seeds. You have to make sure that whatever seed you use need to stay moist. Without the correct amount of moisture, the seeds will never germinate. They need lots of water to get enough strength to break out of the seed. Scarification is something that typically helps plants with tough seeds. However, plants typically used for microgreens don't need the extra help. Make sure you have a spray bottle full of water to occasionally spray them throughout the growing period so that they don't get too dry. You can skip this step if you're growing hydroponically. The next step is to make sure you cover the seeds. There are different methods of covering the seeds to make them germinate. The method that I've used previously is to make sure that the seeds stay in a dark, moist place for the first few days to germinate, only in covering to spray with water. After the first 3 days, I brought them to a light source outside. Within 10 days, I had microgreens growing. The other method is to keep it in a moist place, but with filtered light, like a kitchen window. As long as they aren't in direct sunlight and have a moist growing environment, they should be fine for germination. Typically, having a light source is meant for microgreens, while having no light source for the first few days is good for sprouts. The next step is to wait the designated time period. Different microgreens take different times to grow, but the average time for microgreens to grow large enough to eat is anywhere between 7 to 14 days, although letting them grow a little while longer wouldn't hurt. The next step is to eat. Put it in any dish that you think it would complement. You simply cut them from the growing medium. The great thing about microgreens is that they can grow back multiple times, so you can eat microgreens from the same container for a number of times rather than just one. Now that we've tackled the simple growing process of microgreens, we will now go over the different types of microgreens that you can mix into your dishes. Listed below are some of the most popular types of microgreens. The Brassicaceae family consists of cauliflower, broccoli, cabbage, watercress, radish, and arugula. The Asteraceae family consists of lettuce, endive, chicory, and radicchio. The Apiaceae family includes dill, carrot, fennel, and celery. The Amaricolidaceae family consists of garlic, onion, and leek. The Amaranthuscaceae family consists of quinoa Swiss chard, beet, and spinach. Lastly, the Cucurbitaceae family consists of melon, cucumber, and squash. Adzuki bean sprouts. If you're a fan or even are familiar with red bean paste, you might know that they use adzuki beans to make that paste. The adzuki bean is full of essential nutrients, vitamins, and minerals. These are great to incorporate in your diet because it helps increase antioxidant intake, manage diabetes, It's high in protein for those who would like to help your body build and maintain muscles. The dietary fibers help aid in regulating cholesterol levels, while their potassium relaxes blood vessels and increases blood flow, which in turn reduces blood pressure and strain on the heart. Alfalfa sprouts are a great nutritious addition to many different meals. They are commonly found in Oriental dishes and are usually added to soups, sandwiches, and salads. 100 grams of alfalfa sprouts only have 23 calories, a little over 2 grams of carbs, and have vitamins like vitamins K, C, manganese, copper, phosphorus, zinc, iron, thiamine, and vitamin A. Some of the health benefits of alfalfa sprouts is that it reduces the risk of breast cancer, it prevents osteoporosis due to the vitamin K, and it helps lower blood glucose levels and treat diabetes. Arugula sprouts have a peppery taste that have a significant amount of nutrients. They consist of calcium, potassium, folate, which is a B vitamin, vitamin C, vitamin K, as well as vitamin A. This can be used to top pizzas, sandwiches, salads, and wraps. A good combination with arugula is walnuts, which you can mix in a salad for protein-packed, low-calorie, light but fulfilling meal. Fully grown arugula is also good for chewing to combat bad breath, just like mint and parsley. Basil microgreens, just like all microgreens, have a significant amount of nutrients as well. Basil microgreens have vitamins E, A, K, B6, and C. They also have calcium, iron, zinc, magnesium, copper, phosphorus, and even potassium. They have anti-inflammatory as well as antibacterial properties. It also helps with bone strength and hormone regulation. Broccoli sprouts are an extremely flavorful addition to a dish. Broccoli sprouts don't have as high of a quantity of vitamins like K and C as a full-grown broccoli plant, but they do contain more glucosinolates. A glucosinolate is any of various bitter sulfur-containing glycosides found especially in cruciferous plants, such as broccoli, cabbage, and mustard, that when hydrolyzed form bioactive compounds, including some of which are anti-carcinogenic. Broccoli has an incredible compound of nutrients called sulforaphane. This compound has impressive cancer-preventing and cancer-fighting capabilities as well. They, uh, Broccoli sprouts help benefit the heart, detoxify the body, and can also protect your brain. This is a very important plant to include in your diet. Clover sprouts and microgreens are extremely beneficial to include in your diet as well. They taste great sprinkled on salads and sandwiches. Clover sprouts help prevent anemia, helps detoxify the body, promotes weight loss, supports brain health, boosts properties in your skin, and a great opponent to osteoporosis. In a single 4-ounce serving of clover sprouts, you can consume about 36 calories, only 5 milligrams of sodium, only 1 gram of total fat, 3 grams of carbs, 2 grams of dietary fiber, 3 grams of protein, 2% of vitamin A, 2% of calcium, a whopping 10% of vitamin C, and 4% of iron. If you're familiar with these beautiful weeds that pop up all over your yard, you may know that these weeds are also edible. Not only are they a great filler to dishes, every part of the plant is edible. Dandelions and dandelion greens and sprouts have a good amount of vitamin E, C, A, and K. They are phenomenal at improving the health of your skin. They also have anti-inflammatory compounds and improve digestion. It increases bone density and helps detoxify your body and reduce blood pressure. Mint microgreens contains vitamins A and C, manganese, iron, calcium, phosphorus, potassium, and magnesium. Mint microgreens are usually used as a garnish on dishes. It is typically used to fresh flavor on traditional it's typically used for its fresh flavor on traditional dishes. It provides a dish with a new flavor, color, and texture. The absolute best thing about growing onion and leek microgreens is that it doesn't make your eyes water when you chop them up. These are a bit slow to mature because they take between 15 to 21 days to mature, unlike most microgreens. These are also not considered beginner microgreens because they take a bit longer to mature. Onion seeds are also a little susceptible to growing fungus and damping off disease. Make sure when seeding that they are not touching each other because when growing these, the fungus is more likely to grow. However, these are great to include in your microgreen collection because they taste like onions with a garlic aftertaste. They contain vitamins A, B, C, and E, calcium, iron, zinc, phosphorus, magnesium, potassium, and amino acids. Wheatgrass microgreens are an excellent source of different vitamins and minerals. This microgreen is especially popular with smoothie shops. You can add a shot of wheatgrass to your smoothie to add important antioxidants and glutathione to your drink. These antioxidants may help protect against heart disease, cancer, arthritis, and neurodegenerative diseases. Some studies have found that wheatgrass decrease oxidative stress and improve cholesterol levels in rabbits fed a high-fat diet. Now that you know about some of the different types of microgreens to grow, we will talk about applying them to different recipes. Here are 10 good recipes that you can incorporate microgreens into. For the record, I'm not a chef, so I won't be going into any detailed recipes. Instead, I'll use phrases like to taste or bake, but nothing at temperatures or measurements. If you want to learn more about baking and cooking, UGA Extension has a SNAP program as well as a Family and Consumer Science program, which you can find many classes that teach you all sorts of healthy recipes. If you have any questions about our FACS and SNAP programs, shoot me an email and I'll be happy to connect you with the right people. Stay tuned until the end of the presentation because I'll be giving out my emails. This is a delicious combination of the avocado bagel and microgreens. Simply toast a bagel, preferably plain or an everything bagel. You also get bonus points for using sprouted grain bagels. Prepare your avocado by either slicing or mashing. Add some lime, pepper, salt, and garlic powder to taste and mix together. Place or spread on your toasted bagel and sprinkle with microgreens like alfalfa sprouts on top. Garnish with black sesame seeds and parsley. Another twist of the avocado bagel or toast. Avocado hummus can be made with a mixture of chickpeas and avocado. Melt some butter to mix in and make it creamy like a hummus spread. Add some salt, lime, garlic powder, and paprika to taste. Spread on toast and sprinkle rainbow Swiss chard microgreens on top. Wild green salad can be made with any wild greens. Some of the best greens to include in your wild green salad is arugula, spinach, and lamb's quarter. Put whatever toppings you like in your salad. Personally, I love to put in some pitted and sliced black olives, almond slivers, feta and Parmesan cheese, and balsamic vinaigrette sauce with possibly some chopped apple slices. Add your microgreens in for a bit more flavor. My suggestion is to put some arugula sprouts in for more taste. This recipe is actually inspired by one of my favorite things to order from a restaurant here in Atlanta. Batter and fry some fish, or bake if you would like a healthier option. Slice some onions, peppers, and mangoes. Place the fish and the fruit and vegetables inside of the heated corn tortilla. Squeeze lime to taste on top. Make sure to top it off with some grated Romano cheese and a dollop of either cocktail or tartar sauce. Sprinkle sunflower sprouts on top and enjoy. This is a great meal where microgreens will complement the flavor heavily. Sear, bake, fry, or cook however you normally cook salmon. Make sure once the salmon is finished, you squeeze lime on top and sprinkle with dried parsley and thyme. Sprinkle a little salt and sesame seeds and then top with whatever sort of microgreen. A suggestion for this recipe would be basil sprouts. Drizzle with a balsamic dressing and eat with a side of asparagus or snow peas. You can either have this recipe adapted to a vegan, vegetarian, or omnivorous lifestyle, Pour some vegetable broth into a pot along with whatever vegetables you wish to include in your soup. Make sure that whatever vegetables you choose, they don't fall short of the flavor of beans. In this example, I will be using northern white beans as a main ingredient. Northern white beans don't overpower the taste of other vegetables. Chop some celery, onions, garlic, and fresh cilantro and parsley and stir into the pot. Make sure if you are using beans that were not frozen or canned, pre-soak them for about 8 to 12 hours. Without pre-soaking them, it would take an incredibly long time to cook and it would still come out hard. Now that your soup is done, make sure to sprinkle your microgreens in and stir, as well as sprinkling them on top for extra flavor and crisp. This twist of classic grilled cheese sandwich is sure to be a family favorite. First, take out 2 pieces of bread and spread some mayonnaise. Sprinkle some garlic powder and some parsley. Heat the pan and throw some butter or olive oil in, and then put the bread in dry side down. While the bottom is cooking, put 2 slices of Swiss cheese and some microgreens on the side with the mayonnaise. Put another slice of bread on top. Once the bottom is done cooking, flip over to the other side. Make sure you have enough butter or olive oil so that the bottom won't stick. Once the sandwich is done cooking, take it out and sprinkle with Parmesan cheese and more microgreens. This is personally one of my favorite recipes because it's simple and fun, and your whole family will enjoy this. You're adding extra nutrients to your children's favorite lunch without them even knowing. You can even turn this into a vegan recipe by using vegan cheese and vegan butter and subtracting the Parmesan and replacing it with nutritional yeast or sesame seeds. This recipe is perfect for a well-balanced breakfast. Place some butter or olive oil in a pan until it's heated. Then crack open some farm fresh eggs and put it in the pan. While they're cooking, add your favorite omelet ingredients. For me, I like to add spinach, chopped tomatoes, onions, sliced turkey, mushrooms, and cheese. Then sprinkle your microgreens in the middle. Make sure the bottom is firm before you attempt to fold the egg. Fold the egg in half and then flip it. Make sure the egg is completely done before taking it out. After putting it on the plate, top your omelet with fresh spinach and mushrooms as well as more microgreens. Sprinkle some shredded cheese on top, and now your omelet is ready to devour. This is one of my favorite dinners to eat. First, get a pot and fill it with the amount of water that your pack of nochi instructs. Once the water gets to a boil, put your nochi in the pot. Wait until your nochi floats to the top and then strain. After straining, put the nochi back into the pot. Next, take some pesto sauce and mix it in with the nochi. Get some goat cheese and also mix this in with the nochi. Wait until the goat cheese has a nice creamy thick consistency. Add some garlic and tomatoes to the pasta. Another delicious ingredient to add into this is fingerling purple and white potatoes. Sprinkle some microgreens on top, and then you have yourself a delicious microgreen pesto nochi dish. Quinoa has a lot of health benefits in itself, but adding microgreens to the meal will make it even more fulfilling and healthy. For 1 cup of quinoa, you're going to want to boil 2 cups of water. This will give you 3 cups of cooked quinoa. Bring it to a boil and then lower the heat to a simmer. After the quinoa is cooked, strain and cool. Mix some spices and herbs into the quinoa for a nice flavor. To make a good sauce, melt some butter in a saucepan. Then add some paprika and sage as well as cumin and chili powder. Then add some feta and sprinkle sunflower shoots on top. Mix this all together and you have a delicious microgreen quinoa salad. If you would like to further your knowledge on the subject, there are a number of resources available on this topic. Here are some of the suggestions that I have if you're wanting to learn more about microgreens. The first book that I would like to suggest is called Microgreen Garden, an indoor grower's guide to gourmet greens, written by Mark Matthew Bronstein. This book goes over in accurate detail of how to grow microgreen indoors. The next book that I believe is a great suggestion for learning more about microgreens is a book written by Nick Jones called Microgreens, How to Grow Microgreens for Fun and Profit. The last book suggestion is called Microgreens, A Guide to Growing Nutrient-Packed Greens, written by Eric Franks and Jasmine Richardson. A combination of these three books, along with the presentation, should give you a good idea of how to grow your own microgreens. If you for some reason are unable to grow microgreens on your own, whether you don't have the space, the light, or the time, you're always able to buy these at the store. While you don't commonly see them in places like Walmart, here are a few places you can get them around Clayton County. So the first place you can get microgreens at is the Namdaemun Farmers Market located in Marwood, Georgia. Also, the next couple of places that you can get this, I believe I've seen them at the Savananda Market near Little Five Points. And then I've also seen microgreens at Sprouts near Peachtree City. Now, those aren't in Clayton County, but I have seen them there. And if you can't get them at the Namdaemun Farmers Market, you can get them at those places. And these are some of the outside sources that I use to put the presentation together. All right, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask. If you think of any questions later, you can contact me or our A&R agent, Brandon, at any of the resources listed. Coming next, enjoy our presentation called Beast Treats, How to Grow Treats That You Eat in the Heat. Thanks for listening and have a great day.